Okay, so it's 12, so I think we can start. Uh, Hello, my name is Ania Karoń, and I'm a front-end developer and accessibility specialist at SnowDog. And I'm a mid-sized blonde with dark blouse. And I will talking to you about accessibility, of course, because I focus on this in my daily work. Um, and I'm working with e-commerce for over 8 years now, and focus on accessibility for over 5 years. And today I would like to show you some accessibility myths. And I hope it helps you to know and to discover what accessibility really is and what it isn't, and also to decide if it's important for your business. So let's start from the beginning, what accessibility is. So in general, it's like practice to adjust your website for people with disabilities. But it's really flat definition, I would say. I prefer this one. So web accessibility is an inclusive practice, ensuring that there are no barriers that prevent the interaction with your website or app. So your solution is available for all users, no matter what their condition are and what their limitation are. It's a bit like a curb cut. So it's designed for people with disabilities, but other uses, like with the curb cut to the street. So designed for wheelchairs, but also bikers, skaters, and parents with stroller use it. Okay, so let's start from our users and first myth. I often hear that accessibility only affects a small group of users or affect only blind users. So sorry, but it's not true, not at all. So I prepare like a group of, let's see, accessibility feature. And I divided it for four subgroups. So in first group, we have, of course, users with disabilities, with different one. We have motor impairments, vision impairments, hearing impairments, cognitive disabilities also. And these people use assistive technology, various assistive technology to access web content. For example, screen readers, some switchers, the joystick, also magnifiers, voice recognition, etc. And yes, this is first group of accessibility users. The second one is older users. So users in the age group of 55 years old and older. And this is very interesting group of users because it's still growing. In our aging societies, this group is bigger and bigger, and it getting used, this group, like users from this group, get used to shop online. I have like the small graph here, and we see that for 12 years from now, there is a huge difference in this group, like 12 years ago in 2010, like about 45% of this group of users shop online. Now it's about 59%. So it's a huge difference. And these users, like online shoppers from this group, like will grow because they will still shop online. Like for example, in 10 years, so younger people who are used to shop online will be still shop online. And the prevalence of disability increase with age. So I think like this group of people really needs accessibility feature on your tech solutions. Next group, neurodiverse users. So neurodiverse users are people who interact and experience world around us in a different way. But different, it doesn't mean wrong. It doesn't mean bad way. It's like different from the majority. In this group, we have also like people with spectrum autism disorder, ADHD, or different learning difficulties. But they don't see themselves as disabled people. They just live in a different way and think a little bit in a different way. They are also like very sensitive for different stimulus, like uh, loud noise or some flashing lights. And we should also think about this when we design our website and when we create this solution. And last, but not least, so people under temporary limitation. And I don't think about like people with, I don't know, broken arms, but people who are stressed, who are on the way and they do some multitasking thing. They need to split their attention between shop online, like I want to quickly, I know, order something on my mobile phone, but I need to carry out my children, or I want to spend some time on sport activities. So like with accessibility feature, we can do it easily and quickly. So they people also need it. And now a little bit about numbers. I know you like numbers. So in Europe, 2022, we have population about like over 525 million. 92% of this population use internet daily, so it's over 537.5 million. 76% shop online, so it's over 400 million users. And these are data from like e-commerce report that I link on the end of the slides. You can check it later. And now, like, I do some like assumption. So we have like about 15 users with disabilities, 15% users with disabilities, sorry. It's over 60 million in Europe. We have about 13% older users, it's over 55 years old. So it's like 53 millions. 20% around neurodiverse users, so it's about 80 million. And also users under some temporary limitation, stressful, on their way, maybe in like sunlight, maybe without the mouse or something like that. How many? I have no idea. I have no idea how to count it. But if we sum up these three groups, we have like 196 million users. And okay, I know it's not exact number. I'm aware of this, that users from this group overlap themselves, and it's okay. But think about 20% of users, 15%. So a total sale online in Europe is like around 899 billion euro. So 20% of this is 179 over, like almost 180 billion euro. Think about your business and count about 15% of your users. Like they really could need accessibility feature, or maybe not really require, but maybe they would like it. And maybe they choose your store instead of the other one without that. So it's about the numbers. But let's stay with our users for a little while. So it's a sentence that I often hear when I talk up with the client. So users with disability don't use my website. And my first question is like, how do you know? Do you have any data about it? Really? So please show me, because I would be impressed. Because I don't know the data. I know there is an option with JavaScript to detect if user use, for example, screen reader. But it's not a good practice. Like, we don't want to going in this direction. And screen reader is not the only one assistive technology that user use. So think a bit wider. What is the number of users that would need this accessibility feature? And how do you know it's not in your target group? How do you know it? And for example, in B2B stores, so it's also like merchant told me, no, I have a B2B store, there are no disabled people. Really, but how do you know again? Like you sell for the companies, yes? So in companies, there are people who work there. So maybe they are neurodiverse, maybe they have some type of the disability that it's hidden one. How do you know? So it's not true, sorry. So accessibility means for everyone. Like It's mission impossible? Not exactly. Think about universal design with proper color contrast. Think about unified and comprehensive UI and simple navigation. Think about alternative version of your media. So caption for video, alternative text for images, audio transcriptions, etc. Support for keyboard and assistive technology. On the beginning, for keyboard would be enough and be really improvement. And also customization settings. Do you know how much accessibility customization you can do on your system level? For example, adjust your color contrast, adjust your font size, enable some additional keyboard, on-screen keyboard, etc. Please check it out, because the bunch of the settings could work on your store with really like small effort, like using some CSS or HTML, some default solution. It's not so rocket science, so please use the solution that you already have. Okay, so we know for who, and now how. So we have like the sentences like only accessibility expert can implement accessibility feature, or it's only developer thing. So not exactly. I have some like diagram, you know for sure, like software developer process. And on each of this level, accessibility is needed, like awareness of accessibility feature is needed. Because if project manager doesn't know about it, so he won't plan it. He doesn't plan it, like he doesn't define its requirements. If design is not accessible, like developer cannot code it in accessible way, etc., etc. And like accessibility guy or girl, it's not like, one to rule them all, because it's not the expert in every field. He can consult, like he can help. It's like more, okay, I will find with you solution and the goal that we can achieve together. But I'm not the expert like mobile, I'm not the expert on designers, etc., etc. Like, for example, I'm a front-end developer, so I like using like screen readers on the web when I test something. But it's a little bit harder for me to test it on the mobile phone. Like screen readers on mobile phone are a little bit difficult, and not because like I can screen off all of this and check if it's accessible, if it's available for it, of course. But I don't, the whole of this gesture that people, screen reader users, daily use. So it's not possible for me. So please think about like the awareness and implementation should be in every stage. And yeah, implementation of accessibility, how we can do it. Like we can quickly add accessibility feature before the release. So sorry, but it won't work. Maybe some quick fixes, like, add some alternative text, but single one. But like complex accessibility problems like require sometimes the full refactoring. So if you decided to make it before the release, prepare for the long delay of this release if you have your solution accessible. And accessibility is like a feature, so I implement it once, and then I have it. And it's also not true. Because it's like performance a little bit. So you care about it, you implement it once, you check if it's working, and after a new feature implementation, after some updates, after content updates, you monitor it and control if it's still fast. And it's the same with accessibility. It's really easy to break something in this field. Last but not least, accessibility can be fixed by the accessibility overlay. So I'm not sure if you know this accessibility overlay. It's just a plugin to your website that you click and you have some settings, some customization settings like font size or color, or maybe some additional in-browser screen there. And in theory, it should fix your accessibility issue and help your users. But in practice, it's totally different, because, like, first of all, this plugin, like overlay, doesn't fix really serious problem, like for example, missing alternative text, wrong semantic. And additionally, it can violate the privacy of the user without his consent by saving some settings in the cookies and sharing it with different websites with this plugin. And it also can break the default assistive technology navigation flow. I also link some interesting URL like about overlays when you find also some users review. I recommend to check it, very interesting. Why not to use it? So please don't use it. So it's also not the case. Okay, so like we already implemented, we have it, like we assume that our test, like our website is accessible or maybe up, and how to test it. So there's a lot of online checkers now online when you can put the URL and you have like scores if your website accessible or not. And it's not fully true that it shows all the problems on your website. You need some manual test because the automatic tests cover up to, according to some resources, like up to 60%, but it's not true. I haven't seen it before. Like it's about 30–40% of issues. And you require, like, your solution require manual test, like keyboard test or assistive technology test, because navigation is very important. And what's also great is user testing. Test at least once your solution, your store with user with disability. Ask him to like do some full flow, like from registration until the end of checkout process, and find out if he can get the product from your website. It will be the best testing solution ever, and you have the best scores there. And there's also accessibility audit, which is very, like, you can say, common solution to start. And I won't put the false here, like a single place in my presentation. I think on this maybe myths. But accessibility audit could be helpful, but it doesn't have to. Because on the beginning, you know, audit is something like you get the full issue of your website, like, I don't know, 15 pages maybe, because you have different product pages, category, etc., 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 etc. And then you get like book of over 2,000, like 200 pages with accessibility issues according some WCAG template that is really hard to understand. So it could be overwhelming for the beginning. It's better to start from something small, from some review, from some automatic test and maybe user testing. And if you decide to start from audit, okay, do it, but be prepared that you need someone to analyze it and prepare some roadmap based on the results. Okay, so why we should do it, like, besides it's good, ethical, and it's like a bunch of users use it. So it's also some legislation on the horizon, like in Europe. So we have European Accessibility Act, and it's a directive, European directive, and member states have time until 20th, by June 28th, 2025, so we have 3 years. There are some exceptions, and some companies could really postpone this until 2030, but focus on this date. 3 things that I would like to show here. So first of it, it's like this legislation focus on private sector organization who sell product to European Union customers. So company doesn't have to be based in UE. Like in Europe, it need to sell for customer in Europe. So it's very important, and the private sector, not public, because we already have like legislation for public sector. The deadline, 2025, and it's focused on websites, mobile apps, and all digital devices. So also ATMs, kiosk machines, TVs, etc. So it's also very important to know if you do some Internet of Things stuff with your store. Okay, so how we can benefit? Because for me, it's a little bit hard on the business way that I cannot show you numbers, like hard numbers. Okay, after implementation of accessibility feature, your conversion will be better, like with like some points or something. You will earn sum of money. Unfortunately, it's hard to calculate because it's also the process. And during this process, you change a lot of things on your website. You add some promotion, and so there is no like really nice test of it. But you are more inclusive, and your user experience is more inclusive. You increase your market reach 15%, 20%, maybe more. You also improve brand reputation, but it's only on the beginning, because after this, it will be like mandatory. So saying like, I'm accessible right now, like come to my store and buy something. So it will be like normal. Okay, guy, you're normal. We are all accessible. But now, during these years, you can play with it a little bit. Like you can use it in promotion. Why not? And you can reduce the risk of lawsuit. And in Europe, yeah, I know, it will be quite time for now. Like, I don't believe it will be in 3 years. I think it will be like in 10 maybe. We can have some results of this. But we already have like ADA and Section 508 in the States. So if we build some solution for US, like it could be a reason to take care of accessibility. And it also enhance your search engine optimization. Because if we adjust like our code for assistive technology, who use accessibility API, like it's also the code, it's also more understandable for indexers robots. And it's not like you can boost yourself, but you really make it a little bit better with it. So I think we should think about it and make a little bit this solution a little bit better and more accessible. And here, a QR code for the slides. If you're interested, some resources link and the link for presentation. And thank you very much. Any question? And if we have time, we have time. Do you have any questions? Okay. If some question appears, like I'm around here until the end of the conference, so just catch me up. Thanks.